Hey folks, what's going on? Dylan here. Got a fishing report for you guys. June 2019 out here on Lake Berryessa. If you're watching this later on, hopefully these patterns will transition into that year as well. But started out on Lake Berryessa, ran over here to Pleasure Cove Marina area, started fishing up shallow in the morning, and I can tell you I didn't really experience a lot of action. It was beautiful out here. The water was absolutely beautiful, but really only caught a couple of fish toward the inner, toward the middle of these fingers over here on the south side of the lake. Caught a couple here and there in about probably 15 to 20 feet of water. But I can tell you right now that at the beginning of the day, I knew that this wasn't the juice. I knew this wasn't where these fish were, or at least where I wanted to catch them, because I just wasn't catching anything giant. So I decided to head out toward the main lake and fish a couple main lake points. This one right here, I pulled about 3 fish off of this spot right here, and it kind of dried up. But this was out toward the main lake, as you can see, and I caught a couple decent ones, and I knew I was going in the right direction, but I still wasn't happy exactly with where I was. Jumped to another main lake point and didn't find any fish on that point. So I was a little bit frustrated. Didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I decided, well, maybe these fish are out deep. The water temperature back in the fingers was about, I want to say about 73 degrees. But as I headed out to the main lake, surprisingly, as I got farther north, it was about 79 degrees. So it seemed like the northern part of the lake was actually warmer, which was interesting. So I ended up finding this cool offshore spot, and it was fantastic. Basically, what I was looking for offshore is I was just looking for any kind of islands or anything that was kind of near the main lake. Now, this could even be points and stuff like that. But anything that went from about, 10, 15 feet with a sudden drop off. So these fish could kind of come up on these 10-foot areas, and they kind of hang out when it's nice and cool in the morning. But as it starts to heat up, they start to move offshore. And that's what I was looking for. And I ended up finding a spot like that. And you can find it pretty easily. Just go on Navionics and look around, and you'll find some spots like that, and you can mark them and go out to them. But yeah, I ended up fishing a jig. So at the beginning of the day, I was throwing a drop shot, just throwing kind of a couple different things, threw a jerkbait for a minute, wasn't getting any luck. As soon as I started throwing that jig, man, I started to see these fish come alive. As you can see, there's a nice one there. So these fish were coming alive on a jig. I always fish green pumpkin style baits here at Berryessa. I always just fish green. Sometimes I'll throw black and blues, but this was just a green jig with a green trailer. I'll have the links in the description for the baits that I used. But this is an actual video. If you want to watch just this fishing video, I have it out on my channel right now. But yeah, just started throwing that jig, and the trick is to finding these areas where it dropped off. And I was throwing out my jig and feeling the bottom, and what was funny is I was feeling, and it just felt kind of mucky and just like dirt. And then all of a sudden I would find these areas with rock, and I'd be dragging my jig across the rock. And when I found that rock, I would just let the jig soak. Just let it sit there for a second, and it would soak, and I'd barely move it, and I swear to you, boom, every time there'd be a fish. I mean, like literally 4 out of 5 times I would get a fish as soon as I found where that little rock area was. It was a total pattern. There were definitely a lot of fish out there, and I was snagging quite a few. It was a really fun day. I was out there by myself. I think I ended up probably hooking into about 25 fish, and I probably got about 20 into the boat. Actually lost quite a few, so anyway, it was an awesome day. I hope this helps you guys out. I have a YouTube channel where I post just fun videos of me fishing. It's just what I do as a hobby. So if you guys are interested in that, it's the one you're watching on right now. Be sure to subscribe, check it out. I really appreciate the support, and I hope this information helps you guys out. It's June, going into July. Looks like these fish are going offshore, and I can tell you what, lately I have just not had the luck fishing, Markley Cove and Pleasure Cove. I'm not saying they're not out there, but I just can't seem to find them. And I just find myself going out into the main lake more and more. And I love it because this lake is beautiful. Berryessa is just such a gem, man. It's such a cool lake. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope this helps you all out. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.